Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and this is absolutely astonishing. Like, Wall Street is going to be jumping into crypto in an unprecedented way, and keep in mind that you listening to this video right here, right now, December of 2023, you are front-running Wall Street. You are front-running the largest institutions on the planet. You have crypto before almost every institution on the planet, frankly, and at much lower prices than the institutions will pay. This hasn't happened before. It's always the case that the institutions, the big companies, they jump into whatever new sector is flourishing, and then retail gets a bite later after prices have risen. That's not happening here. It's the exact opposite of that. It's the inverse. It's incredible. Look at this headline from Forbes to bring the point home, talking about XRP yet again, because, oh yes, speaking of the Wall Street game, BlackRock has quietly opened the door to a $1 trillion plus Wall Street game changer amid the $700 billion Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and crypto price boom. And yes, folks, it's just another reason why if you are having trouble sleeping at night, especially if you have over the last few days because price go down temporarily, why? It doesn't make logical sense, as I've been saying, but you're going to love this. Please sit tight with me. You're really going to enjoy this. I think it's going to paint a real good picture of exactly what's about to happen. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, I came across this post initially because it was reposted rather by attorney John Deaton. This is from the Bitcoin news account on social media platform X, and it simply reads as follows. Very attention-grabbing, and you'll see why. New. BlackRock modifies the structure of its spot Bitcoin ETF to allow authorized participants, mainly Wall Street banks, to create new shares in the fund with cash, allowing them an exposure to Bitcoin even without a license to own cryptocurrency directly. Well, isn't that something? And so attorney Deaton reposted that, and he wrote the following, and you might have heard the saying that he's referencing here before. He wrote, "They first ignore you. Then they laugh or dismiss you. When they no longer can laugh or dismiss you and realize they can't kill you, they send in their hired guns disguised as regulators, attempting to slow you down or even wound you. Afterwards, they buy or adopt you and then share you with their friends." Aptly put, attorney Deaton. That is spot on. And he's referencing this quote, which is inaccurately attributed frequently to Mahatma Gandhi. I didn't know this. I didn't know who it came from, but I was curious because I've heard this thing before. I'm sure many of you have as well. You know, the first they ignore spiel. And according to multiple sources, it actually was not from Mahatma Gandhi. There's a whole backstory outside the scope of this video I'm not going to get into as to why there's proof that it's not him and where it may have came from. But nobody actually knows for sure. But regardless, interestingly enough, it is widely circulated and it resonates with people, certainly in the world of crypto, because it applies perfectly here. But the quote goes as follows. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. And of course, when the magic internet money was created in 2009, even if they were aware of it, they're like, stupid internet money. Like, they're just ignoring it, they don't care. But then it starts to pick up a little bit of steam, and maybe there's a little bit of a correction back down, or a big correction over 80 or 90% crash. Look at those idiots. What a bunch of idiot sticks using their magic internet money. But then it comes back, and again, and again, and again. It keeps climbing and climbing and climbing. And that's when they want to fight you, because they recognize it's an actual threat. But then you win. And we're here first. And yes, they'll get a piece of this whole thing, but they can't stop it. That's the whole point here. And so take a look at this. This is the Forbes article. And this is absolutely fantastic. It's amazing what's happening here, truly. Like, the amount of money, it's just, this is unprecedented. This hasn't happened before. And when you're talking about a spot Bitcoin ETF in particular, again, the reason that this is of the utmost importance is because it requires the purchasing of actual Bitcoin. And I understand that this may be a buy the rumor, sell the news thing, fully acknowledge that. But I'll just say, even if that's the case, over a prolonged period of time, the amount of money that will flow in because of this, it's hard to overspeak the importance of it. That's what I believe. And if you think that I'm wrong, okay, well, we can respectfully disagree, but I'll just say that means that you have an opinion that implies that BlackRock and other major firms, BlackRock being the largest asset manager on the entire planet, their product is going to fail, or it's not going to gain meaningful traction. Do you think that's the case? Because I don't. I think over a prolonged period of time, it's going to get major traction. But But anyway, the piece reads as follows. Bitcoin and crypto prices, including major coins, Ethereum and XRP, have rocketed higher in recent months as crypto braces for what could be its biggest ever year in 2024. The Bitcoin price has topped $40,000 per Bitcoin for the first time since early 2022, largely thanks to a huge BlackRock bombshell that pushed up the wider Ethereum, XRP, and crypto market. Now, as wild rumors swirl around a secret sovereign Bitcoin bid, BlackRock has quietly adjusted its landmark Bitcoin spot exchange traded fund application, ETF for short, of course, to allow Wall Street giants such as JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs access. Now, folks, isn't this rich? Especially with JP Morgan. And oh my God, that Jamie Dimon. What a disingenuous, I'll censor myself there. Like, a-hole, like that guy, my God. Calling Bitcoin a fraud years ago, and even more recently talking about, I think it was at a congressional hearing. It was very recently. He was saying more crap about Bitcoin and the broader crypto asset class. Illicit purposes. That's the use case. It's for illicit purposes. And he knows it's not true. He's not stupid. And then here, behind the scenes, what do we see happening? Access for you, JP Morgan. We're BlackRock. You're JP Morgan. You now have access. Even though you're saying all this false crap about crypto being a fraud, this, that. It's completely absurd. We know that. We're paying attention. The average person doesn't. And so their front-facing message, if you're JP Morgan, is what it is, probably because they feel threatened, frankly. Now, they still are going to get their piece, but until they get their piece, they say BS nonsense. Piece continues. In a late November filing, BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager that looks around $10 trillion on behalf of clients, updated its Bitcoin spot ETF filing to allow Wall Street banks to act as authorized participants, allowing them to bypass restrictions that prevent them from holding Bitcoin and crypto on their own balance sheets. The change comes as BlackRock and its rivals in the race to get a Bitcoin spot ETF to market, including Fidelity, Grayscale Investments, and Franklin Templeton, have met with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission to thrash out the details of how the ETFs would work ahead of the next approval window opening. And so, folks, these are some of the largest asset managers on the entire planet, and they're having regular meetings with the SEC. This is uncharacteristic of previous instances where there have been applications for spot Bitcoin ETFs. This is markedly different. Please take note of that. Like, the behavior is different. And so if the spot Bitcoin ETFs, if they're not going to get approved, why the hell is the SEC going to the trouble of putting on this show? Because the average person, like we're aware of it, but the average person isn't aware of this. It's not going to really help. It's not going to convince the average Joe Schmo of anything. They don't know it's happening, but they're doing it. Why? And so that's why I said more recently, based on new evidence, my bet has changed. I still think this thing's getting approved, but I've switched from BlackRock getting approved first to multiple entities getting approved, because it's based on new evidence. It's not just I mean, yes, it's a for fun guess in a general sense, but based on new evidence coming in the way that the SEC is meeting with all sorts of entities, and the way that it seems based on the way that they're doing various things that I've highlighted in various videos, they're trying to line things up. Based on that, I think that what's most probable at this point is multiple entities will get approved all at once. And then there's a quote here. If the SEC accepts this revised dual model of create and redeem with cash and physical, that means the liquidity that supports the ETF shares when they trade would be increased, because obviously you have more potential authorized participants as part of the process, end quote. And that's a quote from Sui Chung, I'm sure I butchered the name, the chief executive at CF Benchmarks, which is involved at BlackRock's Bitcoin spot ETF bid. And that's what they told CoinDesk. And so, as I pointed out in a video yesterday, this is why you should be excited no matter what coin you hold. Now, I would say especially if you hold XRP, because this thing has been suppressed for years and is going to catch up. XRP, I firmly believe that. XRP is going to catch up. It's going to hit a new all-time high in enterprise discovery. That's my belief. I could be wrong and it goes to zero, but that is what I strongly believe is most probable. And so when this goes, I almost lost my train of thought there. Yesterday, I was pointing out a chart, and it's a very simple concept, but it's always worth reminding people of this, especially in recent days with people freaking out. I showed the price action for the last year of Bitcoin and XRP. And you look at, overlapped, by the way, the price chart for Bitcoin and XRP overlapping It looks like the two different lines on the chart are practically puzzle pieces. And of course, they don't perfectly line up down to the second, the minute, the day, so on and so forth. But my God, they do. And so I'm just telling you, if Bitcoin goes, yes, XRP is going to go. People need to chill the hell out. Yes, of course, XRP is going to go. And I can't say that with certainty. And yes, I could be wrong, but that is what I believe strongly. I have strong conviction of this. It's going to. And all evidence shows that XRP continues to move in tandem with the broader crypto markets. This is exciting AF, bro. Like, do you guys see this? And so again, it could be a buy the rumor, sell the news thing. But if you're talking about real money flowing in over the first year, like on the low end, I see estimates of 15 billion. And if that's the dollar amount that flows, then you get a multiplier of 5 to 10x that. That's just how the markets traditionally have worked. Well, that's a substantial percentage of Bitcoin. So the next year or two are going to be absolute fire. And so that if this pushes Bitcoin to a new all-time high, or even if it's not this and Bitcoin hits a new all-time high, then XRP is going to do its thing. It's going to do its face melt thing. That's what I would believe here. And so I don't buy into the narrative the way that a lot of people in crypto do. I could totally see a big move to the upside upon the excitement of the news and then a major crash. But then after that, that's what I'm looking for. And maybe it really does keep moving to the upside. I don't think that's most probable, but it's possible. So get ready, folks, because this is the Wall Street game, and they're going to get theirs. But we're front-running them, and we're going to get ours. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.